Üdvözlünk mindenkit a mai videóban, amiben nem másról lesz szó, mint az idei 2023-as budapesti SNEAKERNESSről. Ebben a videóban láthatjátok, hogy mi hogyan készültünk fel erre a nemzetközi eseményre. Először is a kocsiba bepakoltuk a cuccokat, innen elmentünk kitenni a fogasunkat a SNEAKERNESSre. Mint ahogy láthatjátok, így néz ki pakolás közben a SNEAKERNESS Budapest. Ez a mi asztalunk. Másnap reggel a maradék cuccal el is indultunk, hogy kipakoljunk. De láthatjátok, így nézett ki reggel az épület. Nagyon sok híres ember volt az eseményen, mint például Jeff Staple, aki nem másnál, mint a mi asztalunknál is meg lehet körülnézni, és beszélni az adaptról. Arról itt láthattok egy kis részletet.
Yeah, we see an adapt sneaker right here, and I think that's actually quite an interesting question that it brings up. Obviously, we live in a state currently where we're kind of clinging on to old stories and the classic sneakers.
Classics,
Jordan 1 was released in '85, didn't change a thing, and still the most popular shoe of the youth. And innovation is not necessarily bringing success for all the brands, and there are some challenges. What do you think could be the key to actually bringing innovation to the people that could actually also hit this nerve and become a love brand or a love item? Megfogadjuk, srácok, az adaptot? Hogy nyílik?
Well, there's two ways to do it. One way is to have patience, right? So if you think about air technology and when that came out 40 years ago, that was the innovation of the day. And now, 35 years later, it's like the best-selling thing, right? But when Air came out, the number one shoe was Chuck Taylor. Right? And so people thought like this Air thing is like, what is this waste of time? No one's gonna buy $100 sneaker, And so it took a long time for Air to become mainstream. And now Chuck Taylor is like seen as vintage, right? So it took 30 years, it takes time. So when something like Adapt comes out, it's gonna take time for people to adapt this, no pun intended, but they're used to Air, just like 30 years ago, they were used to Converse Chuck Taylor, So one way is time. The other way that brands could do it is stop making Air Jordan 1s.
Right.
Like just stop, right?
The solution would be simple.
Then people will be like, oh, that's an old shoe. Just like you can't buy a vintage Brooks or like an old, like Reebok, aerobic shoe or something like that. And then they'll be like, oh, what is this? Wow, this is really great technology. I'm going to wear this and like start to adapt it, and understand it. But the thing that's happening now is that sneaker brands are so heavily relying on retro. Why would a customer try the new thing that as a brand, you've spent hundreds of millions of dollars developing this thing, but you still keep making this, and it's natural for humans to just keep going to the thing that they're familiar with, you know what I mean? So I'll give you another analogy. It's like cars. There's electric, self-driving cars, but there's still diesel, manual transmission cars. Oh, how do we get people to buy electric? Just stop making the diesel car, and then people will go to it. But if you keep making the old thing, people will still keep going to gas stations. It's the exact same thing with the sneaker.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Ezen kívül még az RTL-en is készítettünk riportot, és videóztak az asztalunkat is. Ezzel az első napnak vége is lett. Ahogy láthatjátok, kibiztosítottuk, hogy az asztalunkról véletlenül se lopjanak az éjszaka folyamán. Aludtunk egyet, és ezzel másnap el is kezdődött a második napja a SNEAKERNESSnek. Csak hogy el ne felejtsük, most nektek is van esélyetek nyerni egy Nike April Dunkot, nincs más dolgotok, bekövetni minket itt YouTube-on, felmenni az Instagram oldalunkra, ott a posztban található dolgokat megcsináljátok, és már kész is. Sok szerencsét kívánunk mindenkinek, aki a nyereményjátékon indul. Ha tetszett a videó, nyomjatok egy lájkot, iratkozzatok fel, mi a Komikig szóltunk, sziasztok!